The purpose of the Rise School of Houston is to provide the highest quality early childhood education services to children with Down syndrome and other developmental disabilities, as well as to children without disabilities, and prepare them to fully participate as they enter kindergarten. Developmentally, the window from birth to 3 years is an incredibly important one. Public schools don't provide services to children with developmental delays until they are 3 years old. The Rise School serves children in the greater Houston area from 6 months to 6 years in an intensive program. In this way, children who were once warehoused in institutions can be prepared to enter mainstream schools and be successful. Our objective is to provide a learning environment in which both children with and without disabilities can thrive, with a 3-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio, therapy services on a consultant basis, and an individualized learning plan for every child. The Rise School is committed to the idea that such services should be available to all children, regardless of their family's financial situations. More than 70% of the current Rise student body receives some amount of scholarship. What this means is that 62% of our budget must be raised through fundraising and grants. It's imperative to continue this level of scholarship. This way, we can keep Rise's diverse student body and help all kinds of kids be ready for kindergarten. Two key things make the Rise School unique. First, we serve children with and without special needs together in the same classrooms. Although there are other schools serving children with developmental delays in the Houston area, no other school does so in an integrated environment. In addition, Rise accepts students at the age of 6 months for typical students and 9 months for children with disabilities. So much development happens before the age of 3, particularly in the area of speech. Therefore, with its preschool focus and its integrated classrooms, the Rise School of Houston is uniquely positioned to prepare children for success in life. Money spent on education in these early years will mean children will not be burdens on our society, but rather will have meaningful jobs and be integral parts of their communities. Our teachers and staff are absolutely essential to what we do at Rise. Each lead teacher has a master's degree in special education with an emphasis in early education. He or she works with our therapists in planning an individualized learning plan for each student. We like to say that at Rise we meet each child where they are, addressing the child's needs and setting them up for success. Each class is small, 10 to 12 students, and a 3-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio is always maintained. The integration of typically developing peers in each class is also a key ingredient. The students with special needs have invaluable role models and motivators, and the typical kids learn compassion and acceptance of others. This model really sets a tone of inclusion and high expectations, which provides amazing results. Since opening in Houston in 1999, the Rise School has had more than 130 graduates from our program. Of these, 99% went on to kindergarten, most often integrated into their neighborhood elementary classes. We keep in touch with all of our graduates, watching their progress and meeting once a year at our annual alumni gathering. We also closely monitor our students' progress as they go through Rise. Teachers talk with parents every day and fully evaluate each student twice a year. Many who come to Rise for the first time find it hard to believe that children with disabilities and those without can successfully learn together in the same class. Many times, members of the typical student's extended families question if coming to Rise is good for the typically developing child. What we have found is that coming to Rise has many benefits for typical students, be they staff children or siblings of those with disabilities. Academically, typical kids thrive with a 3-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio, often learning skills far above those usual for kids their age. They also learn lessons of compassion and acceptance of others that they could simply not learn anywhere else. At the University of Alabama, studies of the RISE program show that 70% of typical graduates go on to helping professions, such as doctors, nurses, social workers, and teachers. In 1999, we began with 17 students in 2 classrooms in a borrowed space at Texas Children's Hospital. Today, we serve 100 students in 10 classrooms in a beautiful facility designed and built especially for our use. We have had more than 130 children graduate from our program and go on to kindergarten, each with the support of members of our staff who go to all of their transitional meetings. We've also enlarged our supported employment program and now employ 11 adults with special needs. We're proud to be shaping the future of service to people with disabilities as hundreds of residents and graduate students have come to see our programs. We're also incredibly proud to have earned accreditation from the National Association for the Education of Young Children. Only 9% of preschools in America have this honor. One historical challenge that we face is society's negative view of the worth of children with Down syndrome and other disabilities. One visitor to our school commented she had once volunteered at an institution in which children with Down syndrome were housed in cages and given up by their families. Some vestiges of this attitude still remain in our world, as we often hear questions about why children with disabilities should be educated alongside their typical peers. Each time, however, that one of our students goes into a mainstream classroom and is successful, we are breaking down historic boundaries and prejudices. In the short term, we would like to provide even more scholarships for families. Currently, more than 70% of our families receive some sort of financial aid, but we would welcome the opportunity to give more. We would also like to hire a nurse and a social worker so that we can serve our families even better. Our long-term goal is to establish more RISE schools in the greater Houston area. We have families that travel more than an hour each way to bring their child to RISE. RISE satellite campuses in outlying areas would be a true service to our community. Although we're very proud of our current level of ethnic diversity, we would like to have even better coverage in minority communities. This could be achieved with even more scholarships and more outreach to doctors and hospitals.